if anything, Jam, I also do want to give a shout and appreciation for helping me with that little list because I had no idea where to go with that. I don't know how long that I had no long I don't know how long that session was gonna be for. I'm just like, huh. I want to. I'm gonna go ahead and make a list to help people. So I
Yeah,
started,
what's that?
but now like I just started with like a basic list of all right, because most people traveling, the biggest hiccup is making the checklist because you end up forgetting stuff if you don't have a
Hmm.
checklist. So I'm like, let me help out at least with like some light things, like hey, toiletries. You gotta remember your hair stuff. This. I was done with that and I realized, oh wait, there might be even more lists that could be made
Oh my
because
gosh.
we have different events. Like we have a pajama jam. People gonna
It's
forget that there's
true.
a pajama jam.
I know.
That there's like a watering hole. Like I'm like, all right, huh? And we are in Connecticut. Like, yo, bring like a hoodie. And then it brought to the point where it's like, oh yeah, there's like a little session too. What should littles bring? I was like in my head, I thought like coloring books, stuffies, and blankies. I don't know. And then you came with the clutch, like, here you go. Even threw some things for middle. So like, appreciate you. Let me throw that on the list.
That's so funny because I actually woke up and I saw the text and I was like, I can make this list. I was like laying in bed and writing the list.
But no, I do appreciate you for that.
Cool. I'm glad to help.
So yeah, oh yeah, I guess we should go ahead and welcome the peoples to another episode of Big Letter Little Letter Podcast with your host Hedo.
And me, Jam.
And yeah, we were just talking about our prepping for the sleepaway camp with Experience Covet happening on May 19th to the 22nd.
I'm just gonna say yeah.
We're not going
It's
to
good.
fix it in post, so all well.
I mean, if you really want to know, the link is there.
Yeah, we'll have the link there. But yeah, we just there's a lot going on there, so we are pretty much hitting that final run in order to like get things orchestrated and coordinated.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it. I think because I have an event coming up before then, it's like that needs to happen, and then I'm gonna go full ham on camp.
But yeah, I want to go ahead and say for just welcome to episode 13 where we are gonna talk about the counteractive of a top, which is known as a bottom.
B is for bottom. B for bottom.
And someone was a cheerleader either previously or in a past life.
Never that. I was in a step team. We did not operate together.
All right, so it was like step team versus cheerleaders versus drill team.
We didn't have a drill. We did have a dance team, but like they were different. They didn't. We didn't talk.
Oh, sorry about my pup back there. He went ahead and wanted to make some noise.
He wants to be in the episode too. Does your pup know a thing about bottoms?
Let's not even talk about that. No pet play over here. But yeah, before we even get into it all, why don't we go ahead and address what's been going on with us with our this whole Kinky Weekly business?
Oh man, you start. You go first. Let me think.
I mean, nothing too crazy is going on. Been kind of orchestrating some things, whether it's for NEC that's coming up in a couple weeks, the Northeast Conference of Kink. They really worked hard to make sure it's spelled neck. I've been trying to get that plan together as well as going to the Fun Sexuals play party the week after that.
You're going?
Yeah, tickets are already bought, so now
Oh
me and my
man.
lady, we're just gonna go ahead and pop up and show out. And yeah, sadly, my OG pup, Lexington, had to be put to rest. He lived a good
Over now
12
for the
years.
homie.
Yeah, I mean, that did get me sad because that was my first dog and he was amazing. So, shout out to all dogs going to heaven. Um,
Ah.
but
See,
else,
after I saw Marley and me, I was like, nah, I'm good. I can't have no dog.
nope, never watched that movie and I never will.
Why not? It's such a sweet movie. And people like love dogs.
Hey, no.
Fine. Fine. But it's gonna come up one day and you're gonna be like, fine, I'll watch it.
A lot of things come up and guess what I say? No.
Whatever.
All right, what's been going on with you?
Man, not much. I just been working. I've been sick again. Like I can't catch a break.
Apparently, there's a whole stomach thing going on around the New York tri-state area stuff.
There is a stomach thing. Luckily, I haven't caught it. It's mostly just like allergies and sinuses for me. But I am like dubbing the kids. Nobody touching me. We're not sharing food. We're not sharing snacks. And the Lysol is heavy.
See, you know what? More power to you because you deal with the kids. I'm over here doing everything I can to avoid any such thing. And look, he don't love the kids. Just not that much to where I'm gonna go get a job dealing with them.
It's okay. I mean, we're all striving to just work from home at this point.
Either way, I feel like you need to go ahead and break free. I mean, the people hear you. You're doing your doula thing, so hopefully enough people hop on the train so you can focus on helping people individually with their kids versus an entire system that doesn't respect you.
Heard, right? I mean, in my doula work, I still get to fight with people about who don't respect me, but it's different work, you know? I do a lot of care work. I care a lot. You guys hear it. But from one thing to the next, you know? And shoot, I was just talking to somebody in a little sub chat about moving to Costa Rica and starting like a little commune out there.
See, I feel like a lot of people daydream about the commune life until they actually gotta live it. Because my Nigerian ass, when I was in Nigeria, that was the commune life I lived, and I'm like, we got to find balance.
Did you hate it?
We can't go full commune over here. There's got to be a level of balance.
Nah, I don't think I'd go full commune. I think what I really mean is like a closed cul-de-sac type of living.
Okay.
Like everyone in the cul-de-sac knows each other and we share space, but we live separately.
And one of the people in the cul-de-sac owns the grocery store in like a 5-minute walking distance.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need somebody, like I'm your doula midwife, your baby herbalist. We need somebody that owns a grocery store, group of people that know how to build things. These are in the life skills. Everybody needs them.
Okay. Still on I'm still not fuel commune, but compromise.
All Listen, right. Just make sure you have an in the world skill and you'll be fine.
All my skills are technical. In the world, ain't no technology happening.
You must learn how to build something, set up a satellite or something.
All right. Let's not go too far astray from what we're talking about here, which is B is for bottom. Though, in This Is the End, they had Channing Tatum as a bottom, full on leather gear, so.
Oh, let me write down the name of that.
Very funny movie. All right. Now, let's actually get into it. Jam, what is a bottom?
Well, so the term bottom is often used to describe someone who plays a subservient or receiving role for kinky activities in BDSM. Some people are only submissives and some people are only bottoms. So when we're talking about bottoms, we want you to know that like a bottom can be its own identity in itself. So like maybe you're at a party, you want to try like rope. I feel like rope is the easy thing for people to understand as bottoming, but you want to try rope. You are being tied. Someone is tying you. That person is the top. You, the person being tied, is the bottom. If you want to try flogging, if you are getting flogged, you would be the bottom.
So yeah, it's a pretty clear, it's pretty simple that way, where it's, if you are on the receiving end, more than likely you are the bottom. And also in regards to submissives versus bottoms, it's kind of like that adage, all thumbs are fingers, but not all fingers are thumbs. Like, yes, all submissives are bottoms, but not all bottoms are submissives. And even if we were to go on the route of submissives and versus bottoms, submissives can top, i.e., they are doing something to somebody else. So they can, is just because you're submissive, it doesn't mean automatically anything in your existence is bottoming. Like some submissives can top for a scenario or a scene. That doesn't change the fact that they're submissives.
I feel like you need to give an example for the people here.
Okay. For a good example, say there's a submissive that wants to explore certain aspects of BDSM. Like they want to flog somebody, they want to peck somebody, not necessarily because they want to be a top or they want to be dominant, but just for the experience sake. Them performing the act makes them a top, and the person they're performing it on is the bottom in that scenario.
That makes a lot of sense. So it'd be like a pleasure sub who was pegging someone else
Yeah.
would be topping in that scenario, but still a submissive
Yep.
because they're doing service.
Yes. It's all about giving and receiving. The yin and the
Ah,
yang. That's all it really comes down to it.
I got it.
So yeah, that's pretty much what a bottom is. We're just gonna go ahead and keep it clean and simple as that. Now, follow up with that is like who can be a bottom?
So wouldn't that be anyone?
Yeah, anyone can be a bottom. This is not restrictive at all outside of the fact that you just don't want to be a bottom. Like that is the only thing that will stop you from being a bottom. Just simply, no, I don't ever want anyone doing anything to me. There you go. You don't have to be a bottom. Like it's not a role that has to be forced upon somebody. It is a role that someone willingly accepts.
Right. And I mean, it's important to know that you don't have to maintain any of these titles forever. You don't have to be like, all right, I'm in BDSM, I'm a bottom, and that's all people know you for. Like, you can be a bottom sometimes. You can be a bottom all the time. Like, don't worry about it. You can bottom sometimes. You can top sometimes. You can dom sometimes. You can sub sometimes.
Cause no, even like was brought up previously, even DOMs can bottom for a given situation, especially because I know like when I am explaining something to somebody, I would myself bottom so they can see like an experience like in terms of flogging. Like okay, hit up here, like because I can endure quite a bit, I can go ahead and use myself for demos. Like, all right, you want to go ahead and swing in this area, and then I give them like, all right, this is gonna do it like this. Okay, you want to do Florentine? This is how you go about this. And then I could treat myself as the test subject, so that way I could tell them when they're doing something wrong or right in terms of giving that kind of demo. And in some cases, some people just actually do find pleasure in the pain. Like, just because you're a Dom doesn't mean that you give up a card to being a masochist.
It's true. Like when we're talking about why someone will bottom, it could just be like a you want to experience something. And we've talked in depth about like trying things before you implement things, especially if you're going into BDSM as a Dom. Like you need to know what things feel like before you're doing them to other people.
Cause yeah, cause what was it about 2 3 weeks ago? I had my lady taught me with electroplay because this is my first foray into like
Ooh,
exploring it. So
where's the video?
I the videos in the archives. But yeah, I had it where she tested out the various implements that I purchased on myself. I tested on her too to like get a rundown of make sure like because I'm a nerd when it comes to this. I read up, I look up videos and all that. So of
I
course,
love it.
so I did on her first. Everything went smoothly, but I did not know how she felt when it was done. And I
Mm.
am a person that everything I buy outside of penetrative items, I tested myself. Each flogger I bought, I tested myself to see how it felt. Paddles, tested. The electroplay I got, tested. Like, it's just so I understand what I'm doing to somebody. Because it makes no sense if I'm over here being a static shock and all of a sudden it's like, I had no idea what I'm doing to you. Oh, well. Like, that's highly irresponsible.
I'm gonna need you to teach my daddy about electroplay because I have a really cool name for him. I'm about to like get signage off on it and everything. I'm just gonna say he's starting electrician training and I need him to bring it into King.
Okay, okay. I mean, I'm still I say it's gonna be at least another month before I'm comfortable. Like, hey, I do electroplay. Like for now, I'm still in the beginning stage of learning how I can implement that. But we're getting too off a tangent. Let's go ahead and
We
talk.
got time. We got time.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about why someone would bottom.
I mean, yeah, like we said, if you want to experience something, but also like if you just want to let go of control for a scene or like in a scenario at a party, like this is a time where you just want to trust in someone else to do something that they're really good at and experience.
Because if you really want the perfect example of why someone would bottom, we can go into the number one myth when it comes to these dominatrixes. And some of the most prominent ones will tell you their clients typically are like CEOs and presidents of
Mhm.
companies. Like they essentially are running things all day in their life, and they take a time to be a bottom in order to just not have control. It's almost like kind of like a release valve of all the pressure and stress they're having, where they're going to someone that they trust that knows what they're doing, and they just simply give in to what it is that they do.
Yeah, I think spending time as a bottom is a good way for if you're like, I kind of want to give control sometimes, but I'm not really a submissive. Like, just bottoming sometimes for people could be your moment to shine.
Because there's a couple people I've come across where they're not subs themselves, but they happily bottom for rope because, especially when rope is done right, to them it feels like a strong hug.
Yeah, it feels so nice.
Like that's the reason why they're here for it. Like they want to feel like things make sense.
Can I just give a quick shout out to Mr. Solomon who got Reiki certification to incorporate with his rope tying?
He got what? Wait, when did this happen?
Reiki certification. Oh my gosh. It's that energy thing where like people kind of move your energy through you without touching you.
Uh huh.
I'm like, could you imagine being tied in rope and like they do a lot of suspension too. So like suspended, really comfortable rope, and then somebody's doing energy work on you. That feels like life changing.
See, and that's definitely one of the things I do want to. I already said it. Next year, I want to focus on suspension, and to begin that, I want to find someone to suspend me so I could see what it feels like.
Love it.
So that's like one thing that I'm looking to bottom to in the future because I do want to. I have a whole lot of different puzzles and plans in my head of what I can do with various kinks. Again, I got the electro now. I want to incorporate that along with other things because there's even rope that is conductive to electricity that I can go ahead and implement. Though
Amazing.
you do
That's
got
really
you
exciting.
got to be careful though. We're not trying to build a Faraday cage where you accidentally choking somebody.
Yeah. Right on.
See
I
now,
just picture scenes from like Pinky and the Brain where they're getting like electrocuted.
but that's like something again. That's why someone would bottom again. That's another reason just to learn what it is that is happening in that state.
Yeah, for sure. So like I have this really big goal in my BDSM kinky life. And the only way for me to work towards it is to learn a lot of different kinks. And I need to know what I like, what I don't like. So bottoming for different kinds of scenes where I'm not necessarily a submissive for anyone in that scene, just a bottom here and these scenarios to learn about it, like those are good moments.
All right, and let's see. Up next is where can someone explore being a bottom?
Meet somebody. Like go to a munch, go to a party.
Okay, yeah, you can learn in books because there are plenty of books and articles where people talk about their experiences, both good and bad. Um, I feel like every major city have some kind of dungeon, if not there, somewhere close to it.
For sure.
Um,
And I think also depending on who you are, like people of color, it's COVID helped us out in a lot of ways. You can find a workshop on something that you're interested in online if you can't find people who look like you in your local area.
yep, and if you can swim through the cesspool that Fetlife has become, you can find good events that are happening locally from like established groups. Like don't
Yeah.
don't don't look for an Uncle Pete dungeon two people with this one guy that only has like 50, he's following fifty
Oh
thousand
my
people,
god.
but only has two friends. Like, no, don't go for those. But there are groups like here locally. We have Gwen. We have was it TNG Austin? It's just like next generation where they make sure they keep an age gap, so it's only like
Ooh,
20 to 30 something, so you're not over here dealing with 60-year-olds all
fancy.
policing and whatnot. So those are various options. And another one is hire a dom, hire a
Yeah.
dame. Like they
Don't be afraid to hire his own.
if you're in the area, they will go ahead and negotiate, talk you through things. They are professionals. They know what's going on. They can like talk you through some concerns you may have, talk you through some things that you're interested in. Like one of the more known ones that's been pretty much on all the airwaves is Sir Marvelous.
Of
And
course.
like he opened his new dungeon, and every single person that I have talked to that has hired him, they just keep giving 5-star reviews. So
Same.
that's the reason why he's one person right here that I'm talking to right now has hired Sir Marvelous, and yeah, just hire someone that knows what they're doing. Like if you have a plumbing issue, you hire a plumber.
It's true. You also want to get like really good at vetting. So you also want to get really good at vetting. Um, I lost my train of thought because I had a little intruder at the door. Oh my gosh, what was I gonna say? Anyway, it'll come back to
You were
me.
focused on vetting, like how it's important that you get good
Always,
at vetting.
always. But there was something very specific. It'll come back to me later. I'm gonna blurt it out at like the end of the episode.
But anyways, as she was saying, when it comes to vetting, we talked about in the previous episode, vetting is purely about getting information on who you're dealing with, whether it's real time at a dungeon or at a party, or overtime where you're trying to orchestrate something with somebody. You kind of see who they dealt with, who they interact with, uh, past experience, whether good or bad, things of that nature.
Oh, yes, that's what I was going to say. If you're listening to this podcast, you already have an appreciation of people who enjoy learning about the things that they're doing and talking about. Look for those same things in the people that you want to work with. If you're talking to somebody and they can't even tell you like the last time they studied something or the last time they learned something new from somebody, then you probably don't want to work with that person. If they're just like, no, I just know it. I love doing this. This is for fun. Like, and they can back it up with nothing. Just think about those things.
All right, and let's see. Let me, because again, we're trying to be more respectful of time and not make this too long. Except, interviews, they can be our hour-long podcast.
Mm.
But let's go ahead and hit the end note. And how does one bottom?
How does one bottom? Well, first of all, think about what you want to experience. What do you want to do? What do you want to try? Why do you want to try those things? You guys already know by now the types of questions I'm going to tell you to think about. But also be aware of your limits. So even when you're trying something new, you're allowed to have limits. Especially when you're trying something new, you should have limits. And think about like how would you feel when you want somebody to stop? And don't be afraid to say stop or I need to take a minute. Because a lot of times when we're bottoming, we're trying something new. And sometimes we're bottoming because we love something a whole lot.
I would say, from what I've seen, the comparison is the thief of joy. It also can be the thief of pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see someone else bottom, don't focus on how they bottom or how they go about things. Focus on what it is that you personally are looking for when you bottom.
For sure. Because I'll tell you at the last party we were at, some people were going there. And I heard a lot of people say, like, oh my gosh, that looked really fun. Like, she was really taking it. And they expressed, like, I don't think I could ever do all of that. And that's okay. Like, you can stick to your limits, stick to your guns. Like, if you don't want them to use the flogger, the dildo, nails, and another person on you, then that's fine. You can take out some of those things.
Cause no, it's just like in the movie Hitch, just like stay in your lane. Just go ahead and hop step to the side, step, do a little 1-2 step. You ain't gotta do the twist around splits and all that. Just go ahead and stay in your lane.
Right.
If that is what you do, that is what you do.
Do you, boo?
Because I've I've impacted people that wanted to see their limits pushed to the edge. And I've
Mm-hmm.
dealt with some people that's like, oh no, I just want sensual. Like, find your lane and also get a lot better at advocating for yourself. Because one
Yes.
thing that I feel is a big problem is people feel like they ain't gotta be no punk. Like, I ain't no bitch. Like, I can do it all, as opposed to just communicating and understanding the person topping you hopefully is not out here to scar you and traumatize you. They're out here to give you an experience that you will enjoy and love. Whether that is giving you all the pain in the world that you will revel in the next day, or just giving you the sensations of different touches and feels and scrapes and scratches that have you tingling the next day.
Yes, remember, this is your pleasure experience. So it's really important to make sure you're vetting the people who you want to top you and you're having a clear negotiation and a consent conversation before you bottom at any point in time.
So yeah, that's I feel like those are the main things when it comes to the how to know yourself, know your limits. Also, one thing I tell people is because a big misconception is that a sub is someone that just pops up and shows up and does what the dom does. No, the subs do their own research. Bottoms need to do their research too. Like,
Yes.
they have to understand that because all human bodies are different. So what one person is doing to one individual, say someone that is short, stout, a little, a short, thick lady, their veins.
Are you talking about me?
Oh yeah, you are short and you are thick in the lady. Anyways, their veins might be a little bit different than someone who's a little bit skinnier, a little bit taller. So you gotta also recognize how your body's set up because to guide them. Because like for me, I know where rope should not go, but
Hmm.
I don't know everyone's flexibility or tolerance. So if I need to bend someone a certain way to do a certain tie, I need them to be aware. All right, this is as far as I can go, and
Right.
express that to them so that way they are not causing you any kind of harm.
Listen, everyone can't have a milkshake. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Ha ha, you lactose intolerant motherfuckers. I can have all the ice cream. I am a rare
All
human,
right,
apparently.
all right. Nobody asked for degradation tonight.
All right, all right. Okay, so I mean, we'll just go ahead and wrap up the episode there. Let's see. But yeah, uh, Jam, go ahead. You already know what to do now.
Love you guys. Mean it. If you know a pregnant person and you need some trauma informed care, you can find me at Mary Jane's Couch. That's space on IG as I_mean_her. And if you just want to have some fun, you can find me on Twitter as Lady Lies Waiting.
And what about your website?
I said it. Mary Jane's Couch. That's space.
I just have to make sure you said it twice so people don't miss it.
Come find me.
All right, and this is your hedonistic dom. Short, we go by Hedo for short. You can find me as hedonistic dom on Instagram, hedonistic_dom on Twitter, and hedonistic_dom on Fetlife. Because apparently there are people that haven't been active in over a decade where I cannot take that name.
What?
I'm still salty about that.
That's crazy.
But yeah, you just go ahead and find me there. Also created an IG for the podcast, which we're gonna start uploading stuff at some point.
Hooray!
Big letter, little letter is the IG for us. Be sure to follow. You could DM us any kind of questions or stories that you may want to have or share, or if you just want to be a guest, go ahead and tap into one of us, and yeah, we'll just bring you on and just talk about the kinky stuff, whether you've experienced or wonder about.
Yes, and ask us your questions. We want to hear them.
All right, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Until next time,
Bye, friends. Stay kinky.
kinky and safe. Bye.